Welcome everybody, IAmAMusicNerd here, and welcome to the first beginner's guide video of the new year. You see the title of this video, you know what genre I'm going to be talking about, goth rock. I'm going to be recommending you 5 essential albums for anybody who's looking to get into this genre. But before I get into this video, if you like the content of this channel, you like this video, show some support, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button down below. If you're a return subscriber, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new content. Let's keep this channel growing. I appreciate the support that I've been getting. And so yeah, let's just keep this growing in 2021 and beyond. The first album I'm going to be talking about is Iggy Pop's 1977 album, The Idiot. Now I touched on this album a little bit on my beginner's guide to post-punk. And Iggy Pop, at this point of his career, he just got away from the Stooges, struggling with drug addiction. He moved to Germany along with David Bowie. They reconnected and started to make music together in Berlin. And of course, we all know about Bowie's Berlin trilogy, but Iggy Pop made some great albums when he was in Berlin as well. This was the first of 2 albums that he collaborated with Bowie. Bowie co-produced this album, and to me, it's still my favorite Iggy Pop album. You can definitely hear the influences of German electronic music like Kraftwerk can. Iggy Pop was such a enigmatic, charismatic guy when he performs. Like his concerts at the time were just absolutely crazy. In this album, it kind of revealed a more introspective side, a darker side of Iggy Pop, and a lot of the beats are slower. It's not as much raw punk energy that you got with the Stooges. And, Iggy Pop is singing ballads here, and he's singing over this weird electronic posting music, and the lyrics that he tackles on here definitely had a huge influence on not just new wave and post-punk, but definitely goth rock records. There would be no Joy Division without this record. There would be no Cure, Susie and the Banshees, New Order, like all those, Depeche Mode. This album doesn't really get talked about the impact that it has had on new wave music. And so I think this album definitely is one of the first to kick off the goth rock genre. Okay, the next album, Joy Division's Closer. This is their second and final album under the Joy Division name. Of course, lead singer Ian Curtis, this was his final album when he recorded with the band when he was alive. Tragically passed away by suicide. And although Unknown Pleasures, is probably the more famous of the albums, you can argue that Closer definitely is up to Unknown Pleasure, maybe even better than their first album. And you definitely kind of see where the band was going. Obviously, when they renamed themselves to be New Order, and kind of embracing dance and house influences. Songs like Isolation, although the lyrics are dark and grisly as hell, it's over like a dance pop beat that you would later hear in many 80s new wave songs. Ian Curtis, yeah, his lyrics are very dark. Sometimes you read it and it's like, damn, this guy was really struggling. It definitely had an influence on the way this music sounds. Overall, still an incredible record. I don't think they ever made a record as dark as this. Again, songs like Extrasy Exhibition, Isolation are just phenomenal tracks. Definitely had a huge influence on goth rock. So, great album. Definitely go check this one out. Susie and the Banshees, Juju, which came out in 1981. Now, Susie and the Banshees definitely emerged from that post-punk collective in Britain with Joy Division, The Cure. Juju was the record that I would say they really came into their own. They really established themselves as one of the best British post-punk bands at the time. And Juju is considered by many to be their best record, and really showed them like truly embracing, the goth rock tendencies that they will go on to do later in their careers. Juju, to me, just, there's no misses here. It's tight, it's concise, and really, Susie showing why she's one of the most underrated vocalists. Songs like Arabian Nights, just really incredible, and showing how the band was, readily acceptable to embrace different types of sounds. I mean, they did that in the previous record, Kaleidoscope, Susie and the Banshees. Although they wouldn't get the acclaim of other bands like The Cure and Joy Division, this record proves why they're right up there with those bands. If you haven't heard any of their stuff, definitely check out their records. They're one of my favorite bands. They're a credible band, and they have influenced a lot of your favorite bands as well. Juju is probably the record that I would start with, but a classic goth rock record. Good stuff all around. Check it out. All right, the next album, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Tender Prey, came out 1988. Came at a difficult point in Nick Cave's life. She was struggling with heroin addiction. The hopelessness of this album definitely is all over this album. You can tell that Nick Cave was going through some shit. Nick Cave had kind of done some stuff with the Birthday Party, but it wasn't as strong and nuanced as this record. Tender Prey is one of his more famous records. It sounds very nightmarish. Typically what you get with goth rock records, yes, they do talk about horror stories and kind of horror influenced narratives, but this was a different type of horror. This is a man that was struggling through the pains of life and just finding himself claustrophobic and doesn't know a way to get out. Like I said, this hopelessness that fills this album is really what makes this an essential goth rock record. Tender Prey is the kind of the album that really got Nick Cave the critical and commercial acclaim that he would go on to have. And last but certainly not least, I mean, we had to have a Cure record on this list. Now, I was debating putting the album Pornography because, that did kind of bring goth rock not into the mainstream per se, but that's when people really say, okay, this is a genre that should be recognized as such. But come on, I gotta put Disintegration. I mean, it's Disintegration, The Cure's most popular record, probably their most acclaimed record, really showcase what The Cure has been working towards for the first 10 years of their career, and is the epitome of all the work and all the sounds and all the things that they would go through in the 80s, and Disintegration puts a nice cherry on top. We all know the songs here. If you're a Cure fan, Love Song, which became a genuine pop hit, actually went number 2 in the charts. So The Cure showcasing that they were not a pop band, but goth rock can have some mainstream accessibility. Pictures of You, Lullaby, Plain Song, just beautiful music. My personal favorite song, Disintegration, the title track, an 8-minute epic of just bleakness. It sounds like it's the most intense, like the world is ending type of song, the centerpiece of this album. Really, what can I say about this album that hasn't really been said? This was the album that kind of made a lot of new fans of The Cure. It got The Cure a different audience per se, a more mainstream audience, but it didn't compromise what they were about. The lyrics, the themes that they would tackle were things that they would cover previously. So yes, definitely check out this album, the king of all goth rock records. So yeah, that is my list. 5 albums to get into goth rock. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. What are some of your favorite goth rock records? YouTube recommends you check out these 2 videos after this one. As always, until next time, peace.